Okay, part 3. Last time we looked at opportunities and we looked at BAs, BNIs and all that kind of stuff. In this one then, I just want to do a few other little miscellaneous bits of growth mindset type stuff, okay? Things to bear in mind that you're really going to have to work on if you're going to make a success of this. We need to break away from the normal, regular way that people think. Okay, you've got to think differently. So first of all, one of the things that I want to talk about is this idea of getting paid on results, not getting paid for the time that you do. Okay, so people that are employed, they're like, okay, if I get £10 an hour, for example, and if I do 5 hours, then I'm going to get 50 quid. All right, that's all right, but there's only so many hours in a day. So that, in fact, limits the amount of money that you can earn. The only way you can earn more money really is by either doing loads and loads of hours or by increasing the hourly rate that you work for. And when you first start, you start to think, well, I don't mind doing sort of 8, 9, 10 hour days, 7 days a week, if I'm going to get a decent rate. And I, in the past, have done stuff, I did a lot of private surveillance work, and, you get used to get paid on a day rate, and it was a really, really good rate. I was earning a fair bit of money compared to many jobs, which is all great. However, when you then start making your own business, it becomes very, very different. So, and you pretty much get paid on your results. So if it takes me 5 minutes to do a marketing job and that creates 10 clients, well, the fact that it took me 5 minutes is irrelevant. There's an old story really of like a big production line, and one day the production line failed, something went wrong, and all the workers on the production line were like, Crash, I need to get this going, we're losing hundreds of thousands of pounds every day because this production line is broken, we need to call in an expert. They couldn't work out what's wrong, so they called in the expert, and he basically, he looked around for a little bit and he was like, okay, yeah, I kind of think I know what's up, and he took out a hammer and then just tapped the machine on the production line with the hammer a couple of times, and the whole thing just kicked into life. And the foreman in the factory was like, "Well, it's incredible. Well, thank you very much for getting this going. It's brilliant. Who would have thought it was so easy and all this." So then the guy was like, "Right, okay, well, I'll put my invoice in the post for you." And the invoice came for £10,010. And the foreman was like, "What? That's ridiculous! £10,010." And he phoned the guy up and he said, "Why is it £10,010? You know what I mean? You was there literally seconds." And he says, "Yeah, well, that's my rate really." And he goes, "Well, no, it's £10,010 for like bloody 5 minutes work. What's the breakdown of your costs?" And he said, "Well, basically £10 for my call out fee and use of my tools, and £10,000 for knowing where to hit." And that's exactly the kind of thing that we're talking about. It's the ability to work smart, and you shouldn't get, just because it takes you 5 minutes to do a job that takes someone else a day, you shouldn't get penalised financially like that. That's just smart work. Okay, so you get paid on results as opposed to time. And the other thing that you do is you have money work for you. So this is where the 10x done concept came from, because for years I've been not only running my own business and marketing my own business, but also that of others and delivering marketing services for other people. And you kind of think, well, how does one person do that? Well, the truth is, I've got a team, of assistants, like virtual assistants that work remotely all around the world, and do a lot of the work for me, and this is where it all boils back to having processes and routines and all this kind of stuff, so that I can basically hand the task over to someone else and they can run with it, whether it's building a site, sorting out social media, writing copy, doing videos, uploading podcasts, whatever it is, I can kind of pay someone else to do those menial tasks, and I can do the big hitting stuff like videos like this, like creating more leads, building a business, creating strategy, and so the idea is you get money working for me rather than me working for the money. Some other little bits of bobs that you really need to be thinking about, and although these are under other, a couple of them are incredibly important. So the first one I'd say is, you must avoid the path of least resistance. Okay, now being successful is about putting in the hard yards and working towards, success. There's going to be a lot of hard work, and you can't really shortcut that. There's so many get rich quick, build your business rapidly and all this kind of stuff. And all I'll say is that there is no real shortcut to this kind of stuff. You're going to have to do some hard work. You've got to do some real thinking. And I won't bullshit you saying that, you know, you're going to turn this around within a few days and you're going to have 10,000 people on your email list and all that. You know, that's probably not going to happen. If you had tens of thousands to spend on marketing, then yes. But it's not really going to happen. You have to put a few bits of hard work in there. So the path of least resistance really is, you know, the idea that there is some kind of shortcut. And there isn't. You know, it's like health and fitness. There is no quick fix pill, diet, or anything like that. You've got to do the work. You've got to do the clean eating. All right. And you've got to do all that up front before you get any kind of true results. You can't do it on sort of credit. Which leads me on to the next one, which is the law of expediency. So the law of expediency is something that, as a nation, you know, our youth at the minute, just this is what, I'm not sure if that's spelt right. This is what our youth sort of know as the norm. You know, they just want instant gratification, and pay everything later. You know, and that's just not how success comes about. It's not how results come about. You know, everything needs to be paid for in full and upfront. Okay, so the law of expediency is this just instant gratification, like, you know, getting a loan, or, you know, getting a car and paying it off later, or something like that. You know, you've got to kind of look at everything as a bank account, and at some point you're going to have to make a withdrawal from that account. Well, if you haven't put any credit into that account, you're not going to be able to make a withdrawal. Health's a great example. You know, at some point in your life, you're going to have to call on the account of health, your own personal account of health, to make a withdrawal from that. You know, you're going to pick up an illness or something like that, and if you haven't made any credits or deposits into that account, there's nothing to withdraw from. Another example is, you know, on Facebook, how many times have you seen someone join a group or a page on Facebook and then whack up some kind of request for people to, you know, fill out this survey or whatever, and people just ignore it. And they ignore it because they've not really built up any credit in there. You know, they've not gone in there and helped other people out. They've not made them they're self-known. You know, they've not invested in that account, in that Facebook group, and therefore they can't make a withdrawal. And it's exactly the same with your results and your success. Another thing to always bear in mind is there really is no such thing as failure. You know, failure is one of the things that we really, really fear as entrepreneurs. You know, both failure and success. Okay, they sort of come hand in hand, and it often stops us from doing things because we're a little bit nervous and a little bit scared. We're going to talk a lot more about fear as the curriculum moves on, but you've just got to remember that failure doesn't exist. You might launch something and actually it doesn't do particularly well. It doesn't mean you failed. It just means you've worked out another way that it's not going to work. Okay, so it's all testing. Every bit of it is testing, and I know every penny counts right now, and we're going to super streamline your testing and marketing to make it as efficient as we can from the off. But that magic word, but there is going to be a certain amount of testing in your market, and you know, and what you're doing in your demographic and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of testing. You cannot see it as failure. You know, it's like the old Thomas Edison thing. You know, he apparently it took him like 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, and he doesn't see it that he failed 10,000 times. He just worked out 10,000 ways that it wasn't to be done. You know, so it's testing. It's not failure. Failure doesn't exist in your business. Another thing to bear in mind is if you want, and this is quite a big thing really, and this is why I'm super chuffed that you're. I'm going to start saying super, that's pretty shit, but I'm really chuffed that you've started with the 10xTrainer, is because if you want to make a living, work on your clients, you know, get results for your clients, get them, and if you want to get rich and you want to get successful and you want to be, you know, if you want to 10 times your business, then you've got to work on yourself. You've got to change the way that you're thinking and all the things that you do, and the way that you look at life, and the way that you look at money and your clients and your business and all this kind of stuff. Now, the good news is that everything in this membership area is going to set you up for that. Okay, you've just got to follow the steps and take action. We're going to hold you accountable. So in essence, you cannot really fail unless you really start dragging your feet and start being a knob with your coach, you know. So remember to work on you, build you, because the knowledge that you create and forge and all this kind of stuff, that's going to naturally pass on to your clients. You know, when I first started personal training, I was like, yeah, I think I know everything I do. I think I know everything I need to know about training and nutrition and all this kind of stuff. Little did I know the one thing that I was really, really lacking was the idea of of motivating people or getting people to work when they don't want to work, right? And there's so many different approaches that you've got to use to get people to do. So basically sell the idea of doing exercise and eating clean. Because people, they say that they want to change and they say that they want to do things differently, but actually they're quite comfortable where they are. And change sometimes, it causes friction, and people are just worried about friction. So I set about learning about psychology and mindset and all this kind of stuff, and and that has enabled me to now go on and hold extreme weight loss courses that are pretty special. So special that they're being featured on TV and all that kind of stuff. So you got to really work on yourself and your own mindset. And the good news is it all kind of starts here. Okay, so that's the end of the video there. A little bit of a recap. We've talked about the growth mindset, things that you're going to have in your own little arsenal, really, of the way that you think about the world. We're going to do lots of work on this all throughout the membership, but these are really the foundational sort of pillars of what you're going to do. So I hope you enjoyed these little videos, and I hope you've helped this little stage, and I'll see you in the next video.